Now, if you are an old person like myself, you probably fondly remember your NES Zapper from back in the day and shooting that thing at your TV to kill them ducks and have the dog laugh at you. Duck Hunt was a game that we played so much when I was a kid. We absolutely loved that game. And it's a shame that, people my son's age and, probably people my daughter's age too, because while she's old enough to have had a TV that was like the old TVs, at that time I didn't have an NES that we could hook up. So she probably never experienced playing Duck Hunt. And these days, with the way that TVs work, you can't play Duck Hunt. And I'm going to take a minute to explain why. So basically, when you are shooting your gun at the screen in Duck Hunt, what happens is there's nothing actually coming out of, it's not like it's shooting light at your TV and the TV's detecting it. Although when I was a kid, that's what I just assumed was happening. What's actually happening is it's almost like the gun is a camera, and the camera is looking at the TV. And if you've ever watched somebody play Duck Hunt, when they pull that trigger, you'll notice that the screen goes black for just 1 second. Or actually, not even a whole second. It's like really fast. The screen goes black. And when I was a kid, I thought that that was so that they could simulate like you shooting. But that was actually there to allow the camera built into the gun to look at the screen and see where the ducks are, because the whole screen doesn't go black. It's just where the ducks aren't goes black. So if you, I might see if I have this footage someplace. I may not. And if I do, I will put it into the YouTube video of this. But when you pull the trigger on the NES Zapper, the screen goes black except for where the ducks are, and those become big white squares. And what happens is the camera looks at the TV, and if it sees black, it thinks, "Oh, you missed." And if it sees white, then it's like, "Oh, okay, well you hit." And then it figures out which white square you were pointing the camera at, and it kills that duck. And then the little dog grabs the duck and holds it up. Now, with modern TVs, they have a very different refresh rate than we used to have on older TVs. So when you hook an NES up to a modern TV and you pull that trigger, the black thing with the white squares doesn't happen at the right time anymore. And because of that, you're not going to hit anything. So Duck Hunt is literally unplayable on modern TVs. But it's about to change. There's going to be a peripheral which you'll be able to pick up, which will allow you to play Duck Hunt games on a modern TV. They call this thing the Hyper Blaster HD. It's from Hyperkin, and it was shown off at CES in Las Vegas this week. And basically, now we don't know how much it costs, but it's built to the right specifications, which means that when you pull that trigger on a modern TV now, it's going to go black. Now, this works on an original Nintendo Entertainment System. So if you've got like one of those, like a Retron 5 or something like that, that's not going to work. If you've got like a Raspberry Pi that has the game on it, that's not going to work. This is set up to work with actual original hardware. I think that this is so cool, and I really, really want one just so that we can try playing Duck Hunt and imagine how great Duck Hunt would be on such a massive TV. Because I remember when I was a kid, I think we were playing on, I don't know, like a 13-inch TV or maybe like a 15-inch TV at the most. I mean, my my iPad is only slightly smaller than the TVs that we played on when I was a kid. And being able to hit those ducks, they were really, really tiny on the screen. I think it would be amazing to be able to play on, like, downstairs. We've got like a 55-inch TV in the living room. I think it would be very, very cool. It all depends on how much this thing is going to cost. I have an original NES on the shelf behind me. I have a copy of Duck Hunt. The NES works, but I probably won't spend too much on the Hyper Blaster HD because I don't know how much I would really spend time playing it. It would be like really cool for a little while, but I don't know that Duck Hunt, as much as I loved it as a kid, I don't know that it would hold my attention as long as it did when I was younger. That being said, I think that this is a very, very cool thing, and I'm very happy that Hyperkin are making this thing, because there's something about the preservation of older games that I think is important. And light gun games are basically unpreservable unless you have an old style TV. And I remember I was watching a YouTuber. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Epos Vox, who you should definitely check out if you haven't. He was talking about how he was having a hard time tracking down an old CRT TV to use with his retro stuff. And even if I could get my hands on one, I don't know that I would want it in my house taking up a bunch of room because it's big. Lego Lawyer in chat has a great idea. A compilation of the Zapper games would be really, really awesome. And it would be very cool if it came out on a Nintendo cartridge, because again, this only works with an original NES, but I do think that that's a really cool idea, Lego Lawyer. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you're going to pick up? Let me know.